Hey, hello, it's me again. I just want to add, one more basic foundational points that I believe I left out in the previous video entitled Obama, the Lesser of Two Evils, question mark. And what I left out is this. And Glenn Beck says this all the time, because I listen to Glenn, occasionally. Glenn Beck says, well, at least he's not a communist, and that's in reference to Romney, and basically that's a direct inference that Barack Obama is a communist. Look at everything that he has written, everything that he stands for now. You look at the policies he supports and he puts out there, and just look at his rhetoric and look at his actions. That guy is a darn communist, and shame on you academics that buy into this nonsense, especially you communist academics in this country who have never spent a reasonable amount of time in these communist countries. Now, I'm not talking about the academic institutions in these communist countries, because they put on a darn show. I'm talking about where the communism is thick and it's oppressive and it's very heavy on the people. All right, so you academics, shame on you. All right. And if you want that to come to this country, if you want that oppression and that heaviness and slavery to come into this country, hey, you just go ahead and you vote for this man, all right? You vote for this man in the fall, okay? Because if you think the first term, was nice and dandy, it was, basically a pasture full of daisies, hey, you wait till this time comes around, all right? Because this man's the closer. His job is to destroy this country and take it down. Okay? He is an economic and a freedom hitman. Alright? His job is to destroy the freedoms in this country. Alright? And the people behind him, that's their job. And they put him in place. So it's not all Barack Obama's fault. There are people behind him in high places. There are angelic beings behind him in high places. These spiritual entities. Alright? They've been given their marching orders. Okay, and their job is to destroy this country. Now, if it be God's will to have this country destroyed, since, there's a lot of evidence that we are Mystery Babylon. We are Mystery Babylon the Great. People ought to look into that. It's not modern day Iraq. Then I guess the country's going to have to be destroyed. And, as a believer, I can't stand in front of that. If God's behind destroying this country, to send this country a message, to pay this country back for the wickedness, okay? And I'm talking about any wicked thing, okay? And it goes beyond the actions, just as those who do not practice sodomy, if they agree with sodomy, they're guilty of sodomy in God's eyes. They're guilty of homosexuality in God's eyes. If you agree with drunkenness and you think that's great and wonderful, hey, you're guilty of that in God's eyes. It's a heart issue. And since this country is basically departed from Him, and even the religious institutions, most of these churches out there, their hearts are so far from Him, but they give Him lip service all the time. Everybody's always showing up to the box, for these hour-long worship sessions, half an hour-long preaching sessions, drop money in the plate and leave. Hey, they're just as guilty. Their hearts are way far from Him. Hey, if God's going to bring it down, God's going to bring it down. But this is mainly addressed to the wicked that want to keep this man in office. These wicked, ignorant progressives. Yes, and I said progressives. That's what they are. All right? They're not satisfied with a damn thing. They have a spirit of covetousness, basically. Nothing's ever good enough for these people. There's always one group out there always complaining about something, and then they cater to that, and they take the rights away from this group, and transfer it to this group, waging group warfare, class warfare, race warfare. That's what's going on here. This country is divided. This country will fall. Hey, there may be riots, and there may be a civil war also. Okay? I won't engage in such actions. Only protect my family, that's it. Alright? Because I have the conviction just to sit back and just let it happen. Because I do believe it be God's will to do these things. To destroy the country that departed from its ways and decided to go after wickedness. And this wickedness, it just didn't start in 2008, people. This wickedness goes back decades. In fact, the previous president, George W. Bush, he's held in high esteem amongst, conservatives. He's hated by progressives and liberals, But he's held in high esteem with the conservatives, and the constitutionalists. And I don't know why, because the man, he had his role in destroying parts of the Constitution. Yeah, like the Patriot Act. Yeah, have fun with that one, people. You think that was just for the Muslims? No, it's for the general population in this country. But he had his hand in that. And Obama, he's the closer. He's the closer unless God says otherwise. And once again, Barack, you are a communist. I just wish you'd just come out and say it to people. Just stop hiding behind, that facade you have. That facade of, I care for the general man. I care for the general population. I have the working man's interest in mind. Come on, just stop playing those stupid games. Right? Because it's just not true. I'm not going to vote for Mitt. And I'm not going to vote for you, Obama, either. I wouldn't even think about that. Man, that'd be a joke. But at least Mitt's not a communist, Barack. Just please come out and, if you would, just come out and make an announcement. Just tell the people. I'm sure they'll understand. You already have them drugged up, with your rhetoric so far, Why not go a step further?